Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ladies of Sosa podcast. My name is Sarah.
And my name is Christine.
And first and foremost, we always want to give a big shout out to our audience. It's almost the end of the year. And as you can see, we're a little bit festive. I got my champagne glass. And we're just grateful for everyone who's tuned in the past 3 months that we've relaunched. And we're so excited. So thank you so much. Today, we're going to be talking about dowry. Because the last few episodes, we kind of talked about marriage and relationships, and we kind of wanted to hone in a little bit to South Sudanese culture and African culture, because we have some people from different parts of Africa on the panel, which we will introduce here shortly, and touch on that part of our culture. You want to chime in there, Christine?
Yeah, so we just finished the motherhood episode. If you haven't seen it, please go back and watch it because we are going to reference some things that were discussed during that episode. But yeah, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about dowry, and we have an amazing panel here. And it's not just South Sudanese people. We have people from different parts of Africa. So it's going to be an interesting conversation, and we can go ahead and introduce the panel and jump into it. So we can just go around the circle, and then I'll just let everyone just introduce your name, where you're from, what you do as your profession, and then I guess what part of Africa you're from or what country you're from.
I'm Rugi. I work as a data analyst. I am American, but my parents are African from Guinea, West Africa. Guinea-Conakry, it's a really small country on the West Coast, but I was born and grew up here.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. I went to college with Rugi. So.
And Janet, yeah.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Hey, y'all. My name is Janet Akorkin. I am a senior director at a nonprofit by trade, and then a lifestyle influencer on the side. And I am born here in America, but both of my parents are from Uganda.
My name's Adanna. I'm Nigerian. I'm a pediatric nurse, travel nurse, and I was born here as well. So,
yay! Thank you for being here. And Adanna just moved to Houston. She is one of my best friends. So I'm so happy that she's here.
Hi, Willie. It's been, people know me here by now. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's crazy is I was born in Kenya. A lot of people don't know that. But South Sudanese from Eastern Equatoria, Didingham, of course. So.
And what do you do, Willie?
I'm a treasury analyst.
Okay, period.
What's good, y'all? What's good? It's your boy Edward, Eddie Ed Me Tree. You dig? Born back in Khartoum, Equatorian vibes with a Zande boy to the blood. I am a physical therapy student. Stay here in Dallas and just like to have fun. Yeah.
We love the fit, Edward.
We love
as
it's
always.
It's really
giving
nice.
90s
It's giving.
Colors, colors.
It's real.
The Fresh Prince of South Sudan.
Prince.
Yeah.
That's my moniker, yes.
All right. And next we have Dr. Umar. I'm sorry, Emmanuel.
You said Dr. Umar.
Not the him.
My name is Emmanuel Langoy. I was born in Khartoum, Sudan. I'm
There
not
it is.
Ghanaian. They like to call me Indigo Wonderlust. My wonder is for more beautiful and lustful Black women.
Thank you so much for being here, brother. We appreciate you.
So, no, Willie made a hilarious point. He said he got his Pan-African outfit from
period.
Amazon. He said not even like this, Amazon.
Wow.
But why y'all put in Emmanuel's business out
Sorry,
there
I
like
didn't
that?
know
He needed it shipped next
I
day.
didn't know you were going to bring it up like that.
Here's the thing. The beautiful thing about this is I was able to make more money off of this, even though it came from Amazon. The rest of it was donated to the people of the diaspora.
Come on now.
Okay.
Backdoor.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
That's what it's all about.
Thank you.
Respect them on this.
With that being said,
He's right. Altogether.
let's get into the topic. Okay.
So, okay, who wants to, because some people might not know what dowry is. You know, our audience is from everywhere. Does anyone want to define dowry? Do you want to define dowry?
That's all you sis.
Ah, damn. Okay, so from my definition of the dowry is pretty much like a transaction between one family to the other in exchange for their daughter in their hand in marriage. So it's like a bride price. In South Sudan, I think Emmanuel's the one who said it like who said it was like 500
To a band for a cow.
It was like 1,000 per cow. So we do dowry with cows. Well, Dinka culture does. So it's per cow, it's like $500 to $1,000. So depending on how much cows you're purchasing your wife for. It could range. I mean, some people get married for like 500 cows. I've heard that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Have you heard that, Willie? Is that a high? Is that a high?
Can I disagree with you?
Sure, go ahead.
I don't think I don't think it's like a payment.
Mhm.
I think it's like a way of showing respect to the other family.
Okay.
Because I feel like if it was just money, they would use money. I mean, nowadays they're starting to use money.
Yeah.
But in general, it's about giving this much for things that are valuable to the family to show them how grateful you are for them. So I don't think it's like purchasing.
Okay.
So yeah. So it's like
It's more like a sign of respect.
a sign of respect.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
And as Equatorian people, I don't know, different tribes, they do like goats and chickens.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I wanted to say Dinka, because not every tribe in South Sudan
Yeah.
uses cattle for
Yeah.
their form of payment.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, do you guys agree that it's like a transactional thing, or is it more like a sign of respect?
I feel like when you look at what a woman holds, especially in the culture that we have, and what she brings to the table, of course, you're taking not only a daughter, but someone's sister, and then someone who cooks for the household, cleans for the household. They do a whole lot for the family. And so when you're going ahead and, of course, wanting to marry them and take them from that family, there's a price for it. And so, yeah, it's more of like of a sign of respect, or like, okay, I know how much she means to you guys, and so I'm willing to pay this much. And so, and a sign of respect to show you that I'll pay this and also take care of her as well.
So I see it as a type of like assurance and also like a contract. So,
Okay.
And Donna's actually Nigerian, so I'm gonna go around the table later to just see how dowry differs from other countries versus South Sudanese. But for us, it's mostly money now in like the Western society, I guess. But back home, it'll be like cows, chicken, goats, whatever y'all accept.
Right.
But bride price or dowry for us is very, very expensive in South Sudanese culture. And that's something that comes up a lot, is how it's a deterrent for people getting married, especially nowadays with the economy and everything going on. It's harder for a man to get married because the dowry is so expensive. So I would love for our South Sudanese guys to kind of touch on that. Do you feel like dowry right now is reasonable, or do you feel like it's expensive? Like, what do you think about it?
Oh, it's never been reasonable.
Cost an arm and a leg.
It's never been
There's
reasonable.
nothing reasonable about
But
it.
like, there's nothing reasonable about getting the best kind of woman you can get. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you got to pay outrageous prices to get somebody that like you value. So it's gonna suck, and it's like you got to be committed enough to be able to do it. But once you do it, like, what do I have to care about it? Now I got somebody who's going to be able to give me kids that I've always wanted. Now I got somebody that's going to be an equal partner. And it also requires you to truly vet your partners. You got to look at them for who they are, and you can't play about it. So I think that's one thing that dowry does. It doesn't let you just, willy-nilly, I'm going to be with this person, get married with them, even though you don't really love them. You gotta be into somebody to pay.
Because you're investing.
yeah, that's why I say
That's the
assurance.
word.
It's an investment.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like
assurance.
there's positives and there's negatives. Of course, I feel like there's pros and cons of it, but in general, I feel like if you're putting the situation where you have to afford a woman, you're creating a situation where young men are not going to be able to afford you. Old men are, because they've had time. Straight up.
He's not lying.
Straight
He's
up.
not lying. He's not lying.
Straight
Yeah,
up,
'cause
like,
he's not
because
lying.
because old men have had time to, like collect their wealth, set up everything. So if we have a system where only old men can afford women or afford to be married, you're putting young men in a really tough situation.
Isn't that capitalism in general?
That's
It's
true.
always been an old man's game.
Yeah, but they don't have bride price over here.
But
I mean,
I
they
mean,
don't have
but
right
that's
now.
If anything, you have like situations where the dad pays for the wedding.
Yeah.
You're right.
Which is kind of the same.
True. It's
I think what he's saying too is like, but even in American culture, older men are the ones who can afford to have like splurge on girls. So it's kind of still the same thing in a way, right?
And it's the same thing back home too. There's a lot of situations, especially for poorer families or like different parts of South Sudan, where like dowry brings a source of wealth to the family. Like it helps with provide resources and things of that nature. So,
but you
it
are
is the
right,
older
though.
men who can afford that.
Yeah.
most of the time.
But you're right, because in South Sudanese culture, it's like older
Yeah,
men.
old
The
men will
oldest.
go
'Cause
marry
then-
like a 19 or
18-year-old.
98.
Yeah, because then
Bro,
we have
you're
to get into
70
the
years
child
old.
marriage
Dog,
part.
Shawty just turned
too.
18.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Not even
Yep,
18.
that's a
Yeah.
big
That's
part
a
of
huge
child
thing.
marriage.
Your
Because
kid-
because if a family feels like the younger their daughter is, that they will get the highest price
Yeah.
as soon as they sell her as and then they're likely to do what what's best for their family.
Mm-hmm.
And if what's best for their family is I hate to use the word
Sell.
sell off, but
Yeah.
it's like if to sell off their daughter when she's still a teenager, because that's when they're gonna get the most value,
Value
of her.
her.
Then
Yeah.
they're likely to do that.
So you think that is a part of incentivizing child marriage back home, especially
Yep.
for
Yes,
people who
definitely.
are poor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest with
Interesting
ourselves,
take.
Yeah.
older women aren't viewed as the same value because they're not as moldable. Like if we're honest with ourselves, a woman that's like anywhere between 26 to like 33, when an older man, you 90 and you thinking about her as young or her as older than what you like.
Mhm.
You can't mold her the same way that you
She
can
can't
mold
conform to what you
yeah,
want.
a 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old that's easy to tell them what to do, to give them exactly what you want and order them around. Because
I think that depends. I think if a 21-year-old has experienced life in a way that it has taught her many things, she may not be as moldable because she's like, oh, I've seen this before. You can't really have much of an influence on me. So I think it depends on people's life experiences, what they've been through, also their family upbringing. So if you have an older sister who is telling the younger sister, hey, I've gone through this, don't do this, don't do that. She's going to be much smarter and have much more wisdom at 21.
Yeah.
but they're
She
not
might
getting
have the
girls
same.
from solid families.
You said what?
They're not getting girls from solid families. They're getting girls from families that are desperate.
Are we talking
Yeah.
like diaspora? Or are we talking about in Africa?
Just in Africa.
I think
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
Okay,
in that
okay,
situation,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
he
like
was
most of
talking-
these most of these people are just desperate, and so you're giving away a 17-year-old girl
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
to somebody you would never trust in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, our family's coming up.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of sacrifice is insanity.
Right,
Straight
right.
up.
And
Yeah.
you see that in a lot of other cultures, not just even Africans, like poor, rural, like people in like Arab countries or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that is like a good correlation about how like that can lead into child marriage. So,
Right.
Yeah.
And girls are raised from a young age to be a wife.
Yes.
Like you,
Yeah.
that's like literally what you're taught
Your
is
goal.
how to be a wife
Mhm.
in the South Sudanese context, at least back home. And so
I want to ask the guys one last question before we shift. Do you guys want to get married first? And then how do you feel like dowry is going to come into play if you decide to marry like a South Sudanese girl? Is that something you worry about? Or are you guys just like, I'm going to cross that bridge when I get there?
I would love to be married one day, but I've never really thought about dowry like this.
You're not
You
there,
have
bro.
to-
You,
you gotta
gotta
think
think
about
about
it.
it.
I know. Listen, one thing, I'm gonna drop that rack for my baby. I'm gonna drop that money.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
okay.
But I mean, I'll cross that bridge when it gets there. But of course, like I said earlier, you already know what you're buying into. It's a long-term investment. You're gonna get your money back.
So
But do
are you good with dowry, Edward? Since you're a little bit younger,
Mhm.
a lot of the younger generation kind of push back on dowry, and it seems like you're okay with it.
I'm cool with it. It's just I know every year that passes by, it's gonna get higher and higher.
You think so?
Yes, of
But
course.
do you
like,
think that we need to open a conversation up with our elders, especially living here in diaspora and like, with the economy and everything? Do you think we should start having a conversation about how we need to start making dowry more reasonable so
Yeah.
that we can get, because they keep asking us why we're not getting married, especially in South Sudan, but it's like no one can really afford it.
Yeah.
It's
So-
a barrier.
I don't-
I
Can I ask
agree with
Yeah, I
that.
understand.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind
So-
paying, but
So for someone who
Mhm.
doesn't know or is
Mhm.
familiar with the culture, like what factors go into what makes a dowry price
So
high?
they'll cook
that's
you.
a
Yeah,
so,
that's a
I
great
think
question.
Thank
it
you.
depends on the culture.
Mhm.
tribe is important.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
it depends on the tribe.
Yeah.
Like in my tribe, it's like how beautiful she is, of
Mhm.
course,
Mm.
Wow.
what family she comes from.
Mhm.
You
You
Education,
know, yeah, education.
Yeah.
If she has degrees,
family
Good
history
luck.
of children.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
and
How many
like yeah,
children?
exactly.
Genetic
Like her
height.
behavior.
Height.
Oh, height,
behavior.
yeah,
Height is
Height.
really big in
Her
our
behavior.
culture.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Her
Okay.
behavior.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
love
we
that.
are not.
Yeah.
like
But like for me, I do agree. Like that's like it does make it hard because if I had two even choices between a Sudanese girl and a girl who's not South Sudanese. And I realized like, I have to give up half my wealth for the Sudanese girl. You know what I mean? Like, life would be so much easier. And then like,
I wouldn't mind paying, but if I don't have to, I
Hey,
won't.
yeah,
That's
He was
hilarious.
like,
Life would
and
be
that's
so
another
much
a
And
good
it's like,
argument
yo,
for the
yeah.
elders. Like,
Yeah.
why are we not marrying each other? Well,
that's true.
Yeah.
And that's part of the issue with like with Sudanese and each other. It's like everybody's okay when you're dating outside, but once you start dating a South Sudanese,
the standards
the uncles
go
come
through
out of
the
nowhere.
roof. Yeah,
Out of nowhere,
yeah.
it's my car.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And that's a
Exactly.
big
Like,
thing, like
yeah.
Janet said, what is required. But isn't it crazy how, like, during the marriage process, your uncles from all kind of family members that were never there to raise you are all of a
Pop
sudden
out of
there
nowhere.
in your
Yes.
dowry negotiation
Yes.
process? You know, they're like
Yeah.
haggling, and it just makes the process harder because
Yeah.
they're demanding, like, they
Yeah.
have a certain amount in their head.
Like,
Especially when your girls-
Edward, you were talking about. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but like, your family member wasn't comfortable at the wedding because
Yeah, because they're
Like, yo.
they're literally paying as the wedding is going on because they had paid up
Wow.
front. And
Yeah.
then they have to keep paying because it was a different tribe, and so.
And then there's fines too, like
Yes.
that are given out, especially during like the traditional marriage process when people come to the house. There's like, if you come in the house with your shoes on, a different kind of
It's
stuff.
not even that.
They'll
Oh my
be
God.
fining you.
There's certain
Yeah, the
stipulations.
culture is strict. They'll be fining
Yeah.
you.
They'll make you
depending
wait
on the
for 5
tribe.
hours
But
outside
to
the house.
To fight back, they'll cook your girl though. To fight back, they'll be like, "Oh, your girl, she bow-legged.
Oh my
She got
god.
a,
Yeah.
she got a weird toe."
It's like a
Because
really
the negotiation.
So-
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Roses.
Exactly. My grandchildren will not
Yeah.
look like that.
So is this like, do you guys find that a little bit, I don't want to say problematic, but that if it depends on how the person looks, it depends on, because our
You have
culture is
kids or
different.
not,
If they
yeah.
have kids, like we don't base it on that. So it's kind of the same standard. It's kind of like whatever the man can give. And
So, we
you
don't
know,
even
it's
have that
that's
choice.
nice.
it's not he does give it to your family, to you and your family, but it's not like, oh, the woman has to be this and the woman has to be that and blah blah blah. So do y'all find that a little bit kind of like, I don't want to say problematic, but like where it's like,
it's
so the person
misogynistic
has
as
to,
hell.
yeah,
for sure.
right.
It's misogynistic as hell, but like that's
That's
the
part
culture.
of the culture.
So
Yeah.
we have like a slick misogyny slash what's the woman version of that where like the women take control of everything?
Miss Andre. Or
Yeah,
something?
because like at
Is
the
that
end of
what
life,
it's
most of the
called?
time, as an older man,
A woman?
you have no value in the community. Let's be honest.
Oh,
with
yeah,
ourselves. Like you're not really making any deals except for
Yeah.
during the wedding.
Mm.
But like as you get older, you're really looking at hubobos for more conversational pieces and everything else. Like let's be honest with ourselves. How many of y'all have talked to some of the older Sudanese men like and really had a good conversation? Nah, they have
Oh
no
my
value,
goodness.
which is why I think women have such a high value in our community because they do everything. They
Yeah.
organize shit.
Yeah.
They get shit set up. They
They
like
could.
They
bring
cook,
peace.
clean,
Like
take care of the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah,
And then, like you said, when you're educated too, now you're adding that on top of that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
the
very
negotiation,
intense.
the
Like the
price.
negotiations, my cousin's negotiations took all night. Like it started
Sitting in
like
a
at
room.
6 when the other family arrived, and they come
Yeah.
with gifts and stuff. They called us because as the bridesmaids, we come, we wear our traditional wear, whatever.
Yep.
We enter, and then they send us away with the bride to come back when the negotiations are finished. That took all night. We came back at like 8 a.m. the next morning, and we had to stay up all night to be on call, to be ready when negotiations are done, to go back to enter. Like now the marriage is finished. We've agreed, like it's complete, you know? But
it creates
it's intense.
But,
like
It is.
it is intense, but it also creates a rapport between the two families because you're actually having a conversation all night, enjoying yourselves, and then you celebrate to the
I don't know if they're
agreement.
enjoying a lot. 'Cause
I mean, it depends.
it's like
It's
you're on
intense.
2 separate sides of the house,
Yeah.
and then you have representatives that you
like-
send
like-
over.
Like Emmanuel
Yeah.
said, like the groom's family has to be like, she's bow-legged. Like you said?
She got a cleft toe.
But he still loves the cleft toe.
She can't jump over a certain amount of like, she has no athleticism. Where the baby's
exactly.
gonna come from?
To
Like,
reduce the price, right?
like, come on, yeah.
Right.
I'll be like,
Yeah.
you
That's
seen her
fair.
play
Yeah, it's
basketball?
it's like a business negotiation.
Yeah.
It's back and forth for
and they
real.
have like the
It's
appointees
back and
that go
forth.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that there's any pros to the dowry?
Yes.
Yes,
I
let's
love
hear
it.
it. Let's hear it.
Definitely.
Let's hear it.
I mean, I would say that as a woman, you give up a lot in the marriage. Like,
Yeah.
I would say more than the man. You have to carry the child.
Yeah.
You do make the home. You unfortunately do end up doing a lot of the cooking, the cleaning. So yeah, pay up on the front end because on the back end, I'm gonna be doing a lot of the
get
things.
your money
you know what I
back.
mean? So let me get
get no
something
money.
It's an
in the
investment.
beginning. It's an
Yeah.
investment. You're investing in me. and I'm gonna invest in you. I feel like throughout this marriage, like, so I definitely think I could see where as a man that's a lot of money, especially like I said in y'all's culture. But I definitely think it's something that as a woman, that probably does maybe benefits a little bit more than the man would like to keep going with it. Yeah.
Okay. So you would like to keep that.
I would like to keep that custom.
Okay.
And I feel like even if I were to marry someone that's not African, I would be like, hey, this is my culture and you need to give me my dowry before you can marry me, because this is, you want to marry into my culture, then this is what my culture entails. So I would 100% be like, yeah, sorry, this is it.
And Rugi, you're from Guinea. What is your like culture when it comes to dowry? I think that's
so
interesting.
us, it's not even just culturally. It's also, I'm also Muslim, so even religiously, there's a dowry. So, but there's not like a set thing, but it's usually what it is like the guy will, and his family, not just him. So it's usually him and his parents. They will bring like a suitcase full of gold. They'll bring like a stack of money. They'll bring like African fabric. They will maybe buy like a cow or two for your grandparents. And it's not just for you, it's for you, your mom, your dad, and then usually like your mom's best friend is kind of the godmother of the wedding, and he'll bring something for her too. But it's not a set amount of money or anything like that. It's usually, but it runs to about no less than probably like $2,000. But I mean, that's not a lot, but it's just something. But a lot of times it will run to a lot of, like my cousin, hers was probably like, I would say all in all, probably he did spend about $8,000, And then even in our traditional wedding, you also give money to, the man also gives money to the bridesmaids. So he also gives money to the wife's friends. So, but it's, like I said, it's more of, it's not like a specific thing, but you kind of already know it. And it's more so the wife and the husband talking about, okay, let's agree on this is what you're going to bring to my family, more so than like their families kind of arguing. Like if he, whatever he brings, your family will just kind of be like, okay, that's fine, thank you. They may talk shit in the background and be like, damn, he couldn't even bring a little bit more than this, but they're not gonna like sit in a room and enforce it or whatever. Exactly. They'll just talk shit about you behind your back.
And that sounds a lot more reasonable, actually. Like that sounds a lot more reasonable to me.
Deanna, do you know a little bit about your Ugandan like dowry process?
I don't.
Okay, that's okay.
I know like general knowledge, but I didn't grow up like super cultural in that aspect.
Where it was pushed on you.
Yeah, where it was pushed on me. So it's not until now, as I'm getting older and talking about marriage with my mom, that she's starting to bring this up, and I'm like, well, nice to have this conversation. Like we've never talked about this. So I personally don't think that it's like it's good either way. Like I'm not requiring it, because I also wasn't raised, and I never seen like a Ugandan traditional wedding, and like I don't know what the customs are, so I can't really say like this is what you have to do type of thing. But if and when I get to that point of marriage, I think it's just more so a conversation with my spouse and my family, if that's something that is required or
Did your mom say it was like a thing? Or?
Girl, I feel like she don't even know. Like, I'm like, girl, you are American now. Like, she's just so far removed a lot from just like the culture.
Right.
So I think that she says it, but it's not like this is what
she has said it. I remember when you graduated, we were like, the price went up. We got
your
master's.
But I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
So are you gonna? Do you feel like you're gonna require dowry, or you said you're not because you're? Not really
I'm either or. Like I don't. I think it's just more so, like I said, the conversation that I have like with my mom and my spouse during that time. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't,
she said the dowry not stopping nothing.
I know.
She's getting married.
Give me the.
Adana, you're Nigerian. So Adana's Igbo and she's Nigerian. She's also the eldest daughter, like Janet and Rugi too, right? That's crazy. So what is the custom for dowry? And obviously you're Igbo in Nigeria, Igbo tribe.
Yeah, so I'll speak on the Igbo tribe specifically. So we have dowry, and then you also have like a list that you have to bring of items. So for example, like, this many like palm wine, or this many tubers of yam. You have to buy cows. You have to buy jewelry, African cloth as well. Like so many things. That's where the expensive part comes in. The dowry part may not be as expensive as the list, because some other family members may come in and say, oh, Ada's getting married. We need one car for this guy in the village. We need like, you know, we need you to buy a generator for this family. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I love that.
Everybody wins.
yeah, everybody starts coming and commanding, like people that weren't even involved in the bride's upbringing. So
Same.
yes,
Yeah.
The
so
uncles.
yes, exactly. It's the
uncles you haven't seen.
Yeah.
They're coming to collect
Those
the
are
portion.
ages.
So it's more so about your father has to go now and consult with in Igbo land, basically like the men of the village, the elders, right? And they're the ones who come up with this list. And they do basically like based on the woman's like education, can she cook? Of course, is she, you know, peaceful? Her qualities, of course, those go all into how much they're going to ask for. So.
I love
Well,
that.
there's so much overlaps, like similarities
Yeah.
to our dowry process.
Yeah,
like,
for
Yeah.
sure.
based on if you're, you know, can cook,
Yes.
womanly, have an education that comes into play.
Right.
So yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
Are you
Yeah.
going to require dowry, sis?
Of course, I'm an Igbo babe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, now we're expensive.
Yes,
okay?
I love that.
Yeah.
So if you ladies had to like pay for men,
7
Yeah.
figures.
No,
Here we go.
if we were ladies and we still have to pay for
Seven
men,
figures.
or
No,
are we switching sexes?
You don't know about it, forget about it.
Can I speak on the positives of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Like I was thinking about it the other day, and like in countries like India or China,
Mm-hmm.
they have problems with situations where like they'll have a baby, and if it's a girl, they'll kill her. Type of
Yes.
infanticide or abortions rates are
Mhm.
high when it comes to having a child who's a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the positives about dowry is that in our culture we value girls, we value our
Yes.
women. Like we try
Yes.
we're happy. Like when I
Yes.
like even if you even think about it, even in America, have you guys seen some of those videos where it's like those gender reveals?
Man.
And when it's a girl,
Yeah.
niggas are just angry. Like,
Yeah. Irate.
No, I want to say on this podcast, I want to give African men their flowers because African men set the standard as far as loving their women, upholding their women, whether you're dark skin, light skin, African men, they're just it. So I just want to say that because
thank you.
when it comes to like respecting their women, they're the standard. When it comes to like valuing us, you see like in videos, like they're putting black women in our natural hair in different body shapes. So yeah, I
Yeah, the
I had to
like
say
African
that.
music,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Afrobeat
Yes.
industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
and
very
even
much.
That's a
providing and
queen.
protecting standards.
Yeah.
Like you see, like you
Yeah.
see so many other like countries where like they're so even when a baby's born, they're like mad that it's a girl. We don't have that.
No.
We're like either way we're happy. You know, we're happy to just have a child because and the fact that like a baby girl, if we raise her right, she's gonna bring a lot of wealth into our family.
Mhm.
We're happy that
Yes.
it's a girl. You know, like we don't have that where we're just like people don't know. Like in countries like India, like I was reading about this, like people will literally take after it's born, they just go and abandon it somewhere because it's a girl. You know.
and you have to be careful in those areas because of just like being a woman over there is super dangerous because you have a higher population of men,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
would make
Yeah.
you think that women
Which
would
is
be
getting
more
out of control.
valuable.
Like
Yeah.
the population is lopsided because as soon as women realize, as soon as the family realizes that it's gonna be a girl, they either have an abortion or when it's born, they literally abandon it or
And this
kill
sounds
it.
real messed up, but like society in general, like when have men ever really had anywhere near the value that women have had? And that sounds real messed up, but it's like the reality of the truth is like a woman is the bearer of children. Like
Yeah.
there's very few things. Okay, we as man, we give whatever we give, right? But at the end of the day, what's producing life? It's the woman. And so for us to even think that there's
But
a
we need-
comparable.
I'm
We
glad
need
our
men
culture
too, though.
sees
Oh
that.
yeah, yes we do. Yes,
I'm like, we
do.
can't do it by ourselves.
Yeah,
Just
obviously.
like have our
Yeah.
Do you
opportunities.
not
so-
think that men have value?
still
They
important.
do.
in our
What?
culture?
Yeah, they do.
We do got value.
Yeah.
When we can do something.
I'm surprised this is
No,
coming from
I'm
you guys.
I'm
No, we
No, I'm asking
value
the
you
question
guys.
because
Yeah.
the way he phrased it, the way he like put it up together, saying that women have all the value. I'm like, men have a lot of value
Yeah,
in our
they do.
culture.
Yeah, when
we
we're-
literally
when
need
we're
each
able
other.
to
That's
do
what I'm
something.
asking.
Yeah.
I
Like, do
think
you not
society
think?
already puts value on men. So that's why
Yeah.
he's giving the women their flowers.
I
'Cause,
see.
like, it's
Okay.
a
Yeah.
patriarchy, you know,
That makes
like,
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah,
That's
'cause
true.
We already know that
Very
men have value because
valuable
it's always put
in
in
our
our face.
culture.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
like,
Yeah.
I'm glad our culture values women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Me
sure.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our culture values women more than we value the men because they there.
Yeah.
They there.
Like,
I
there's
don't know
no
if it's
pressure.
true, but
works.
that's another
Yeah.
topic.
I think in African culture, there's so much pressure on men to
Yes.
do well and to
Mhm.
provide. So they know, like,
Yeah.
as a young man, they're like raised to you have to provide.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
African
Like,
men,
I would
yeah.
give our flowers to our African culture. They know what to do.
Yeah, and I love our culture, and I think that we should uphold it.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's
Yes.
that was my next question. Do you think that we should keep dowry alive, even though we're living in diaspora?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start with that. I was also gonna say, since y'all talked about the pros, are
Yeah.
there any cons that you guys?
We're talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
Because a lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
people
of
say that
course.
like
There's so many
It's
cons.
expensive.
Yeah, it can be
but
a
it's
barrier.
expensive,
Which
but
do
it's
have.
also people say that it makes women be looked at as a commodity. Like
Mhm.
Oh,
like
true.
now you're my property because I paid cows for you.
Mm.
So
yeah.
do you guys see that side of that as well?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Play a part?
Yeah.
The apology dowry that
Mhm.
brings it. In the last episode, we talked about motherhood and how if you get a girl pregnant out of wedlock, you have to pay basically like a fine or an
Mhm.
apology dowry.
Mhm.
So I feel like that is a great thing because I don't know if it was you or Adele saying that it holds the men accountable. So I don't think that it makes women a commodity. I feel like it shows how valuable you are because if someone comes and gets you pregnant, like your family is going to hold him and his family accountable for doing that and make sure that like he does what is necessary in order to rectify the situation, you
You
know?
see,
Yeah.
why are you acting like he just got you pregnant? Like you didn't, like
Are
you
you
weren't
talking-
into that.
Like the
Like,
the
you didn't
shared
contribute-
responsibility.
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
contribute to being getting pregnant.
No,
I
it
mean, it's
definitely
mostly
is both of them contributing, but in our culture, if you go and get a girl pregnant, you're gonna be the because in their minds, it's like now it's gonna be way harder for her,
her
to
to
be able
find
to
out.
move on unless
Yeah.
you marry her because you just got her pregnant.
Yeah.
If you don't do the right thing, then now it's gonna be harder for her to be able to find a husband because
Yeah.
now she
And
has
there's not a lot of
child.
cultures that do hold the men accountable. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, you the one who got pregnant. Who told you to
Yes,
get pregnant by that man?
exactly.
Exactly.
And the guy could be a deadbeat. And
Yes.
it's like, with that apology dowry, it kind of says like, hey, you gonna put your money like
Yeah.
with what you did, you paying for it.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I agree with that.
This is a prime example of why the dowry is slightly better because you got to look at deadbeat dudes slightly differently because like you can't get pregnant by a deadbeat dude because you know he's not going to be able to afford your dowry.
That's
so you got to look at
true.
it.
You
and
have to
you're
have
like,
higher standards.
Yeah.
for yourself.
You not it. Like,
Right.
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 and at the same time, I look at shorties, especially if they Sudanese. I'm not finna. No. No.
It's
Hell
gonna be
no.
a lot of problems.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that come
I don't know
with
how
that.
it is with you guys' tribes, but you guys can tell me. But like in my tribe, they will tie you on a tree if you get a girl pregnant without marrying her. You're gonna get beat.
Really?
All the
That's
uncles,
scary.
everybody's coming to beat you, and then they just leave you by the tree. They go rest,
And come back.
get some tea, come back, beat you again.
Nah, getting
You know?
shy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's like
Can you imagine?
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've been shy, man.
Listen, but I bet nobody gonna get pregnant out of wedlock.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and then after
Oh,
that is the
man.
negotiations. But and yes, you're not in no level to like say anything because you did it disrespectfully. You didn't do it respectfully.
So
by coming to the
who does
family
it? Is
first.
it the woman who got pregnant side that ties them up to a tree, or
I
is
think
it
so,
their
Yeah.
side?
Yeah, it's the
Oh,
woman's
the-
side.
okay.
The woman.
Oh, they're not going to, especially if the brother don't really like you.
Oh, it's oh.
He's okay for the belt.
He's going, yeah, what?
Oh.
Did you guys or have your parents? Do you know? I know Edward mentioned it earlier. Like, do you know dowry was paid for your parents?
At first, it wasn't because, of course, my dad came here and then he brought us over. But later on down the road, oh yeah. That
And I
matter
think
was
that's the
paid.
thing. They make sure that
Oh,
it
they
don't
make-
matter at what
yeah.
point in time in your life you're gonna because some
Yeah.
people I know
They never forget.
Mhm.
delay. You know,
Yeah,
they
they
might have
never
paid it
forget.
later, but they paid it.
Yeah, and you can do
Yeah.
installments. I heard.
Yeah.
So it
'Cause the
doesn't
thing
have
is-
to
They're
be all
gonna get
paid
their
at
money.
once.
No, they got a payment plan.
Oh yeah, well, my
They got
bad.
after
Payment
pay,
plan.
after pay, they got Klarna.
After pay, Klarna. Okay.
Firm. Break it up into payments.
Paying
So-
interest payments.
Christine brought up a really good point to me the other day because we've got a lot of comments on our platform about us being like more Western African women.
Okay.
Like, yeah, they're like, these are
Westernized,
westernized African
modern
women.
women.
Yes, we're modern women.
Yeah.
And the dowry system is more of like a traditional custom. It's been for generations. It's more,
Yeah.
it's old. do you think that that the dowry system applies to girls, or can it fit? Is it compatible with girls who kind of grew up in the Western
Do you
world
think
or Western
we
system?
deserve dowry?
Yeah, does it make sense? Because it's like an
Or-
old system with new modern
Yeah.
women. Or
Because
Because they say
Yeah.
all modern women are the same. Even
No,
all, you
just
know?
because you take an
Yes.
elephant out of Africa does not mean it's not an African elephant.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's still an
Okay.
African.
Exactly.
With the proverbs.
Like,
come on.
Please.
you know what I'm
That's
saying?
an old African proverb, okay?
Yes. You know,
She's talking right now.
Yeah, 100%.
we
Yeah.
we are
Wow.
we are still African, and the way I was raised, I know about like Igbo culture.
And you know how to be a wife, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's one
you
thing
know
they
what I
say,
mean. So
but we
if
don't
we
know how to be a
require
wife.
dowry, yes, we are gonna have some Western aspects of us, but
Right.
it doesn't overpower the fact that we are still Nigerian or Sudanese or from New Guinea. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
I-
we
I
are
have-
still
I have-
African.
I have some questions though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so
Willie
What-
about to eat us.
I know he's about to. Yeah. He's about to.
I just have a few questions.
Of course,
Like,
of course. Go
okay, like if you still want the dowry and everything,
Mhm.
all right, do you still want me to get you flowers? Do you still want me to take you out all the time?
What?
Do you still want me to?
Really?
Because
Wait,
no,
wait.
Let him land.
No.
That's
Yeah,
maintenance.
Sorry. It's
because
yeah.
like because it comes together.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, are you okay with me getting a second woman? You know?
In America, in the
Absolutely
diaspora?
not.
Yeah, in America.
In
Yeah.
America. Yeah.
Tradition.
Exactly.
In this America.
If you want a tradition, why can you not honor that tradition?
My question is like,
Hold on, let
do
him
you
land.
only want the positive aspects of dowry, or do you want the whole thing?
Second wife.
So dowry.
So you
where
think
did it say
dowry
that?
opens
Where
up
does it-
that
right.
that option for
Polygamy.
you? And do you think that if you pay dowry, that means that you don't have to do nothing else? You don't have to remember
Exactly.
anniversaries or
Right.
anything?
No,
Do you think
no,
dowry is
no.
everything?
When you buy a car,
Okay.
No, I'm
You
just
still
trying to
have to
clarify.
maintain
because
the
that's
car.
very
You
interesting.
exactly.
You might have a
You can get a
point.
second car.
One mic.
Can I get a second?
Okay, but if you are already
Can I get a second?
if you're already
why did you get a
complaining
car
about,
with intention?
you know, the first payment and, you know, oh, I have to pay all this, blah, blah, blah. Why would you even want to go and pay again for another person? And then, no, that's not part of the rules. No, I feel like we are. you can't do that. Now, I will say that we do, as Westernized people, I do think that we a little bit more like get to pick and choose what we want from the culture. So I will agree with you with that, where we're kind of like for me, like I'll be like, oh, I don't believe in this, but I believe in this, and I don't believe in this, and I believe in that. And I do think that, you know, of course, like, for example, I have like my mom or my aunts that are like, no, like, you know, this is all part of the culture. And I'm like, no, I don't agree with that. But I will say that, yeah, no, I disagree. I'm sorry. Like, I still believe I deserve my dowry, but I don't think that means all of a sudden you get to, this is your dowry and this is it. You don't get to take me on a date. You don't get to,
That's
you
insane.
know, do anything else to maintain the relationship. And then you get to get another one. No, absolutely
no,
not.
Do you,
but
do you
here's
think
the
that?
heartbreak.
Do you think that if someone pays dowry for you, then you have to like be more traditional, like be more of the traditional African woman? Do you think?
I
Yes.
don't. I think that it depends on what we've had a conversation about before you gave me that dowry. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like if I promised you that maybe that, hey, you know, I would be this traditional woman, then maybe. But if we've had a conversation about, hey, this is how I believe our relationship is going to go, then I don't think that just because you paid, which you signed up for and you knew this was part of my culture, that all of a sudden I have to be, you know,
Right.
just
Or-
so different or
Yeah.
whatever, you know? That's
But
just,
here's the thing: what if he treats you right? He does everything that you want. He
Mhm.
goes out, takes you on dates, but all he wants is that second wife in Wisconsin.
Man.
Well, I
this
guess
discussed prior?
that's the question. Like, was this conversation had prior to
Right.
y'all
Right.
getting married, or did he just?
I mean,
Split, you know,
so
out the blue.
here's what you're basically saying that like the tradition that you're gonna have applied is the tradition that you choose, which is respectable.
Right.
That's literally the whole point of this conversation. It's like you choose certain traditions. That's the aspect you acknowledge, and then we'll continue forward with that,
Mhm.
which is beautiful. But at the same time, if we gonna acknowledge all the traditions, I'm about
Yeah.
to do everything.
yeah,
But I also say though, with second wives, is basically you're just asking for open relationships. Because if we're honest with ourselves, most of these people who have 10, 15, 20 wives.
Well, that's
are in
great because
open
we're actually going to
relationships.
talk about that in the polygamy
20
episode, which we're
wives?
about to shoot.
One
Yeah.
is
So
enough.
y'all stay tuned for
Because
that
we're gonna-
episode. But
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for listening to the Ladies Sosa podcast to our audience.
I think we got to round it out on one final question. Like
One final
just the
question?
last-
Mhm.
Okay.
Last thoughts.
What's a good
How much-
topic?
Y'all ask.
How much do the boys think that their bride price would be if women were paying for them?
We're
For
not
me,
doing this.
No.
Seven, like I said, I'm a seven
I
figure.
think I'll go back
Okay,
to,
then.
to like
1.2,
the question that you guys
1.2.
asked.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
NFL contract.
I need that.
I'm willing to pay dowry in respect, but like if that shit's gonna put me in debt or like I have to
Yeah.
like start off a family with nothing, like negative,
That's what I'm saying.
yo, you better go talk to your family because
And that's
I
one thing
have a
I've been
question.
thinking because
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want the person who wants to marry me to face that dilemma. So I would want to step up and be like, if we pay all this, we're gonna be broke. Like,
yeah,
we're
and,
not
and
Yeah.
it's,
I
and
don't
it's not
mind
going to
dowry, but at
you.
the same
You know what I
time-
mean?
It's going to your
going to your
exactly.
uncles.
So I
Yeah.
think for us,
Yeah.
I know our uncles too, but I think that I have like I can talk to my parents directly one on one, and my dad is very reasonable. It's like he wants me to get married, so like I feel like the way some negotiations go, where it's like all or nothing, you either do this or the wedding is off. I feel like that's not gonna work because you know your partner, you know how much money they have, you know. Kind of that they want to do this, but maybe they're limited in certain aspects. You still have to pay for a wedding. You still have to go start a life together later on. So it's like
Right.
y'all are hurting me too.
Yeah.
That's why,
Exactly.
like, I know.
Yeah.
It's best to have, if your family has the best intentions for you,
Mhm.
then they'll go into the negotiations
Especially
with
if they're
good
not South
intentions.
Sudanese.
It's like not going to be solely about money.
Right.
Mhm.
Depending on who your family is. Some families are like, if you can't afford her,
I
like,
think it
sorry,
puts a
you better
bad
find a
taste
new
in
husband.
people's mouth
Yeah.
too if they're not South Sudanese because it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
like this is too much. It's not even my culture.
Yeah.
I'm just doing this to pay respect, and it's just like,
But it's
You know?
it is a
But
beautiful.
can you guys acknowledge the fact that they're nicer when you're not South Sudanese?
Yeah.
yeah, they have to be
Yes.
because the standards
They
are
don't-
really,
yeah.
really high. We said that earlier when it's South Sudanese, the
Yeah.
standards are like through the roof.
All right,
When you
so
say
that's-
nicer, I mean, I don't
No,
know.
no, no,
They're
no.
more
They
lenient,
love-
No,
so
they're
they
more
might not
lenient.
ask for
They're
They're not
$25,000.
as rough.
They love the Hawajats. They love the,
Yeah, exactly. When it's a white guy, it's like, yo, just $2.
I think it's not just white. I think it's anybody outside of the culture, they'll be more lenient because, I mean, if you tell someone it's $25,000 or $20,000 to marry my daughter, obviously
That's a
It's
car.
intimidating.
that's
That's a
not going to
car.
go over
That's
well.
about price of car for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they know
that's
the other
cheap. I
side
ain't
doesn't
gonna hold you.
understand the culture, so they're gonna
Yeah.
try to like
Go
you know
ahead, Janet.
soften
I
it.
have a
Yes.
question for the guys.
Mhm.
So from earlier, y'all did say y'all want to get married.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are y'all planning for it?
Think I'm
Like
saving
in terms
up.
of like saving, like have y'all
Yeah.
been intentional about like
Yeah.
No.
you know thinking about
That's
that
what-
so
yeah.
that when it does come, it's not
Yeah.
such like a hard hit.
I can
Have y'all
start,
looked-
but I haven't started.
Me and my brother literally
Still
have
young,
been
like,
have been looking at it.
24,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
saving
you're
up
big.
together for investment property specifically for that kind of conversation.
But also the South Sudanese culture is not. You don't just pay it by yourself. Your family puts in.
Oh.
Like your
Yeah, but
brothers
like
put
in
your
America,
I feel like
in
America,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
we're-
on me.
yeah,
for
if
We're
you're-
in
if you're
America, how
American-
many of your uncles are gonna
Yes.
give you
Yeah.
one cow like on the
Yeah.
side? No.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe that's
It'd be
modern
reasonable.
because back home,
Yeah,
your-
back home,
your
yeah.
Back
family
home,
helps you.
yeah.
Yes.
So you're
Because
not
they eat off of that money
Yeah.
too.
Right.
They
Back
get
home is a
some of the money.
collective, but like
But
if
here
you're
in
an
America-
American,
To answer Jane's question, yes,
Janet.
I do
Not
like I
Janet.
do. Janet, sorry.
Yeah.
I have a cousin named Jane. Like,
It's okay.
I'm sorry, Janet.
It's okay.
Janet. Like yeah, I do plan to get married, and like I do plan to get married, and I'm living my life towards that, like to get ready for that. But yeah, you better talk to your uncles. I'm not.
Period.
also there is a reason why Sudanese
heard it
men
here.
I'm
are-
not giving you all my life savings.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
and start
That's
off
fair.
at a like
Talk to your
like,
uncles.
fucked
That-
up
that's-
apartment because I have nothing because you know.
Yeah, I'm not
We're
starting
doing
at
that.
like $250,000 in debt.
That's what I'm saying.
Because-
I don't mind
Yeah,
paying
yeah.
for
Like
it,
you
but
want-
if I don't have
Yeah.
to,
Or you can get
I
an
won't.
American girl
Ooh.
whose parents are gonna pay for the wedding.
Here's
You-
a better
you know
idea.
what?
No.
You get an orphan Sudanese girl. There, your
That's
problem.
not-
Alright.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
No.
So I
You
mean,
by yourself on
my
that one.
okay.
Yikes.
So my
Charity.
question for Christine: Are you? I'm curious. Are you like okay with dowry? If your dad was like very passionate about you getting married with a dowry or a bride price, would you talk to your partner about it, or would you be willing to do that? Or are you open to dowry? Do you?
Oh
believe
no,
in that
dowry
type?
is a requirement. Obviously, I am a South Sudanese girl. Like
Yeah.
my dad, like I know, but I think I'll have the conversation about. All right, can we work some things out.
Yeah,
Like,
let's be
know,
reasonable.
if some of my uncles are being too pushy, I feel like I'd want to step in. Like, hey, you're about to mess up my wedding. Like,
I have a lot of pressure because my sister got married with a high dowry. Like,
You're
very
next.
high.
You're
So
next.
I'm like,
you don't have to say
I
the
don't
exact,
know,
but what's high? Like, what around the? You don't have to say it, but what's high?
How many
considered
cows are we
high
talking?
in South Sudanese culture?
I don't want to say how much cows. I'm
No, don't
not
say
really
how many
super
cows.
sure.
A lot.
Is it more than
A lot.
100 cows?
It's a lot.
Probably.
A lot.
Ooh,
Probably.
Okay.
So she had a high dowry, but like you said, the dowry also goes to the woman too. Because I think I got some cows, by the way. Too. Yeah, I think I got some cows, and then like they give it to like the bridesmaids to get their nails done, to get the henna, to get hair. So it was actually really beautiful, like actually experiencing that side of the customs, like where we're all like enjoying what their family gave to our side of the family. And it's like we're putting it towards the wedding, you know?
Yeah.
So you're like, ask for some more, sis, so we can all enjoy together.
Okay,
I got you.
I can rock with this. I can rock with this.
All right.
But I
see.
do feel
we
a
all
little bit
gotta
of
win.
pressure.
Okay.
Yeah, I do feel a little bit of pressure to like to make sure that I maintain that custom because my sister did it.
She already set the bar.
She's
like,
okay. I'm like,
way up there.
Oh wait, so
Here,
do y'all
like,
have
damn.
like dowry rivalries where you like, hey,
No.
yeah, I'm more valuable than you.
Get out.
but I just feel like my uncles would be like, your sister did it. You have to do it too. And it has
so
to
and
be-
so brought this many cows.
Yeah, so what's
he's
up?
trying
What
to,
do you
you know?
bring?
Yeah.
So that is harder for
You
you.
know,
I'm
I had a
sorry.
double
Yeah,
there.
so we'll see. We'll see though. We'll see.
Can you
but
imagine getting booed for your dowry?
Oh, boo, you
Get out of here.
Right, get out of here. Like, this wedding sucks. The last wedding, they had catering, they had an open bar, they had this.
okay, like what happened? We had our henna was paid for, our hair was paid for.
Right.
This wedding is
It's ghetto.
pressure. It's pressure.
Oh my God.
So
I
yes.
can't believe I woke up early for this.
Oh my God.
So audience, let us know in the comments if you guys have any of your personal experience with the dowry, men and women. And if you're still learning and you're like understanding the culture, like ask some questions. I'm sure people will drop down in the comments and answer. And thank you guys so much to our panelists for exploring this conversation with us. Y'all did amazing. You guys
Thank
did
you.
one run through with the
Yeah,
handles.
and if you are from another African culture, or even if you're not even African at all, do you have dowry in your culture? What are your customs? Let's start the conversation because this
Yes.
was so interesting.
It was.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much. We're just going to go around the table and we can just do your handles where people can follow you. If you have anything you want to plug, a business, social media, whatever. And yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah. So my handle is Jadora Rugui, JADOREROUGUI. Follow me on Instagram.
And you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I think that's it.
You know,
I'm trying to think of where-
Everything's the same.
Oh, YouTube
yeah.
and YouTube. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm like.
It was okay. We're gonna put.
But my handle name is Janet Akorkin. Last name spelled AKORIKIN. But yeah, follow me.
And then my IG handle is ADXNNX and then a little underscore behind that.
Yeah, I got you. Really fast.
Really fast underscore.
We know yours by heart now.
That's it. Yeah.
Simple Edward Mitre _ I'm not posted on the social, but I'm posted in real life.
Okay, period.
Wait, how do you spell Mitria?
MITRI.
All right, Emmanuel.
Oh, it's Emmanuel on TikTok and then Emmanuel _ Angor. It's spelled an A in front of like a manual.
You changed it from Emmanuel Comedy?
It's Emmanuel _ comedy.
Okay.
And then everything else is just a manual.
Okay.
I don't know why I added
That's
the
what I
underscore
thought.
comedy, but
Yeah.
I felt
Yo,
special.
can I give you some credit, bro? I jumped into your TikTok. That shit
Put
is
a little
funny
bit.
as fuck, bro.
What?
Yeah, you got
Yes,
me
y'all
laughing.
love that.
follow TikTok.
Yeah.
Follow
Yeah,
Emmanuel.
get on Emmanuel on TikTok.
Yeah.
This nigga's funny as hell.
He's putting in
His
effort.
breakdown of
Reels?
like his breakdown of videos is just hilarious.
yeah.
Instagram
Yeah.
Reels?
We love that. Give
Appreciate
Emmanuel his
y'all.
flowers.
And audience, follow our panelists, follow our amazing panelists to learn more about them.
Next episode is polygamy,
Polygamy.
so stay tuned.
Follow Ladies and
Many
Sosa on all
wives.
platforms.
Yes,
On all
follow
platforms.
them.
Like,
Yes.
comment, share, subscribe, give us a
Yes.
5-star rating, and we'll see you guys in the
Yes.
next episode.
Love you.
Oh, and Happy New Year!